A quick disclaimer before the video starts. I'm so sorry for this video. It is actually so bad. This video is terrible. I swear for any new people watching this channel, this is not the usual quality of the videos. I'll explain more in the comments about the specifics, but I am incredibly ill at the minute and I didn't realise how Jesus Christ. I didn't realise how lack of energy... I didn't realise how little energy I had in the video and how much I was just reading inside my head and not really engaging much with the audience during this vid. This is not how I usually am. I'm very, very ill. I'll explain a bit more in the comments down below, but I'm so sorry. Try and enjoy the video anyway. I promise I'll try and make a part 2 once I'm a bit better and I'll add a bit more pep to my voice. I apologise in advance. Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Poké NPC video here on the channel. I very nearly said Poké PC there, but I changed the channel name last week. For those of you that did not know, it used to be called Poké PC, now it is called Poké NPC. I saw that there was a much bigger YouTuber already with the name Poké PC, so I thought it would be best to go my own style and change it to Poké NPC. I was stuck between these two names when I made the channel anyway, so it was a change I was already 50-50 contemplating, and I thought best to do it now while the channel's young than when I get more subscribers and I change the name and it could be very hazardous down the line. But we are sticking as Poké NPC. For anyone that was confused why we are now under the Poké NPC tag. Yes, today we are going to be looking at Pokémon Theories. I have never actually googled Pokémon Theories in the past. I know of a few of the popular ones through just proxy of seeing other YouTubers talk about it or hearing friends mention them in the past. Like the Ash is in a Coma theories, quite popular, where back in the original anime in like episode 1 I think, when he gets struck by lightning, the theory is that he's been in a coma and the rest of the show is just his hallucinations while he's in a coma. I think's the only one I really know. The old theories, I guess more creepypasta of Lavender Town and stuff like those. I know we've made a video on that in the past. But apart from those, I do not know of really many or any Pokemon theories. But yes, we are going to dive right into this. I'm not going to be using all on one site. I'm probably going to flip-flop between a few and just read 5 to 10 or so different theories. If you guys like this video and would like to see more theories, then please leave suggestions or links to other theories that you like down in the comments down below. And for part 2, I will gladly have a look at some of your theories. Please enjoy. The Misty Is Dead theory. Okay, Misty is dead. This one may seem a little far-fetched at first. There's actually some imperial evidence that suggests Misty is in fact dead. In episode 24, Misty is licked by Sabrina's Haunter. The thing is though, numerous Pokédex entries for the Pokemon suggest that a lick from Haunter is actually fatal. As such, it stands to reason that Misty would have died soon after the fateful lick. Is it fatal though? I swear Haunter licks literally everything. It has a move called Lick, which it uses on many Pokemon, so I assume it's not fatal. I don't believe this theory. I'm hoping there's a few theories in here which I actually agree with, but Lick is a very common move Haunter does use, and at no point does the Pokemon just get insta-killed by it. A continued inclusion in the anime would obviously suggest otherwise, but some fans of the show have speculated this is just a symptom of Ash's grief. I doubt it, considering every other character, even when Ash isn't there, also speaks to it. Yeah, this feels like more of just a nice little thought experiment rather than an actual theory. Parasect is a Last of Us styled monster. See, this one is not even a theory, this is just a fact. Parasect, lore-wise, if you read the Dex entries, is actually like a parasite that took over a Pokemon, rather than like it being a full-on original Pokemon in itself. So this, I don't actually think is a theory, unless this is going to delve a bit deeper into it. Not every Last of Us game is more threatening, is the fungus is actually a real thing, yep. Thankfully for humanity, the fungus is only able to take control of certain insects. In that case, there are 600 different species of the cordyceps to be the world of Pokemon, however, it seems that this species is capable of infecting bug-type Pokemon, most notably Parasect. Most of the Pokemon's Pokedex entries confirm that it's a parasitic fungus on its back. Yeah, that's not really a theory, that is legit just just what the Pokemon is as a Pokemon. That's why I love Parasect so much. For those of you that don't know, Parasect is my favourite bug-type Pokemon in all of Pokemon, and this is one of the reasons why I love the lore behind it. Giobanni is Ash's real father. To be fair, we haven't seen Ash's real father, and the mom doesn't really like to talk about him, I don't think, so this would make sense that he used to be a really good Pokemon trainer which would inspire Ash, maybe, and then he left home and they haven't really heard from him again and he became the leader of Team Rocket. That could be very plausible. Given his status as the big bad of the anime, the idea of Giobanni being Ash's real father is quite a shocking one, and no doubt it would, however, explain why Giovanni's Rocket team lacks Jesse and... However, it will explain why Giovanni's team lackeys Jesse and James always seem to be in the same region as the young protagonist, despite the vastness of the Pokemon world. Or they might just want Pikachu, that could be another explanation. Yeah, I feel like there's much more credible points than just them sending Jesse and James. Like, Giovanni doesn't think Pikachu is that worthy of like a grab, and they're more obsessed with it, so he doesn't really care what they do, so they just have their own free reign to go after Pikachu as much as they want because they're annoyed the first time you beat him. But I think there's more credible points you could make, like Giobanni and Ash are always obviously in contact, plus we don't really see that many adult males who would be Ash's dad's age in the Pokemon universe have like much of a canon big plot role as Giobanni, so it would be a very fitting plot twist to have. Yes, Ash's mom never really mentions Ash's dad. He may have been a very powerful Pokemon trainer which inspired Ash. Giobanni, like, there's points that can be made, plus hair colours are the same, like, there are points to be made, sure. The player murders Gary's Raticate. This is one that I actually really like. I remember this theory quite well. When you first fight Red, or the first few times you fight Red in the original... The first time you fight Blue in the original Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, you do notice he has a Raticate and a Rattata throughout the first few fights, and then when you fight him on the SSN, that's the last time you ever see his Raticate, and then when you see him again in Lavender Tower, he's talking about, do you know what it's like to have a Pokemon die? And it's a bit like morbid, which gives credence to maybe when you fought him on the SSN, you did accidentally kill his Raticate, or maybe his Raticate just died at some point in between that point to something that happens off screen. But I like the idea that it got so much damage to you on the SSN and he couldn't get it back to a Pokemon Center since you were on a boat, and it took too long. I quite like this theory, so I do know that one quite a bit. Wobbuffet is just a tail. Thinking about it, yeah, you do hit the Wobbuffet and it really doesn't take damage, and all the expression's usually in the tail. Maybe. Humans are invasive species. I don't think that's a theory. I think that's just what Pokemon is. They are wild Pokemon that humans decided to tame with Pokeballs. Like, very much they were not originally meant to collaborate. Humans are also Pokemon. I don't believe that one. If you flip it the other way around, very much is factual, because I believe Alakazam, or like Kadabra's Pokedex entry, it was a child that once woke up as a Pokemon, and I think Yanmask also on its Pokedex entry. I quite like skimming through Pokedex entries. Yanmask Pokedex entry, I believe, said it's holding the face of the human it used to be when it was Pokemon. So there are Pokemon which, at least Pokedex entry-wise, are confirmed to be human. But I don't know what you mean by human or also Pokemon. Unless you just mean everything evolved from one bacteria, and technically we all come from the same life force. I don't know. Ditto's a failed Mew clone. I didn't think this was a theory. I thought this was just like... Doesn't it very strongly allude to this in the books in the first game in the Pokemon Manor? Ditto was made to breed Pokemon that are close to extinction. I could believe it. That's another possible make of Ditto. One of the most popular theories is Ditto is a failed experiment to tranquil Mew. Yep. In the first Pokemon games, there's an area called Safari Zone where only some Pokemon were available. Like Kangaskhan, it is assumed that because the Pokemon were only available in the area that are close to extinction, it's assumed in this theory that Ditto was made with the offspring to breed. Yeah, okay. I could believe it. Mimikyu is a dead Pikachu. I think you just need to look at it to pretty much understand this fact. It's not like the Pokemon would just be born to look like a dead Pikachu. The Pokemon War killed many adults in the Pokemon world. Again, it's a theory, but I also kind of think that's canon, because Lieutenant Surge does allude to the Pokemon War, and you virtually never see anyone's parents in the Pokemon games. Apart from, I recently, if you guys didn't see, played Pokemon Emerald for the first time. The last full upload on this channel was a full review of my first ever blind playthrough of Emerald. I know, I went 24 years without playing Emerald, I understand. Hate me in the comments all you'd like. But yeah, I did do my first playthrough of Pokemon Emerald, and it was really good seeing a actual Pokemon father in the game actually be a canon part of the story as like a gym leader. But yes, I fully believe this as like could very much be canon. Ash's dad is a Pikachu. Is this just because of the film, I'm guessing? People eat Pokemon. Again, is that really a theory? We see them eat many fish and animals and stuff like that in the Pokemon world. And all species do tend to be Pokemon or resemble Pokemon. Then again, there are actual normal just fish in the anime, but I'm assuming they could also be Pokemon that we just haven't caught yet. Pokemon eat Pokemon. Again, is this even a theory? They're animals, of course they're gonna eat Pokemon. Like, when they're in the wild, like, they know moves like Bite, Crunch, like draining moves and all this other stuff. I see no reason why they wouldn't eat other Pokemon. Like, there are plenty of times Pokemon are, like, preying at other Pokemon, like, the Beedrill in the forest, like, attacking Ash and all that other stuff. There's definitely, like, bird Pokemon would definitely eat bug Pokemon. Like, Caterpie's always really scared to get thrown out against, like, a bird type in the first season, so it would only very much make sense that that's because they get eaten by him. Like, again, some of these don't feel like theories, they just feel like things we all understand to be true that's never really been confirmed that the people are calling theories. Cubone's originally a baby Kangaskhan. Okay, that... maybe... Again, I don't know, it's the first evolution. When you hatch... No, because when you hatch a Cubone egg, it hatches into a Cubone. It wasn't a baby Kangaskhan. Like, is this going off of the skull? I don't... Like, some of these fairies just, you can immediately disprove by just thinking about how the game works. With yet another fairy involving Kangaskhan, this one comes with a twist. Kangaskhan is known to be a motherly Pokemon that always cares for its young, much like the majestic kangaroo. If the fairies are to believe, though, the bond works both ways, and when it comes to Kangaskhan, and led to the creation of a brand new Pokemon, the story goes that one day a baby Kangaskhan saw its mother being killed by Team Rocket, and was so overcome by sorrow it stayed in the mother's body until it decayed. After it decayed, it wore its mother's skull, and thus evolving into a Cubone. While the fairy may seem a bit dark, Pokemon die in the anime and manga, and so it does make sense. It doesn't really make sense that when you breed two Cubone, you get a Cubone, you don't get a baby Kangaskhan. So it's not the same Pokemon. I don't know. Dark Pokemon Trading Theory. Is this going to be like, your Pokemon gets brainwashed to like the new trainer? Like when you trade it, you also train your Pokemon's respect for you into the new ball or something? In the Pokemon world, there are many Pokemon that needed to be traded in order to evolve into their final form, yada yada yada. Many players have found themselves wondering how exactly they show up in the wild. As far as anyone knows, Pokemon like Gengar and Machamp can't evolve without first being traded. This means that the trader of any wild final form has either released a Pokemon or that trainer has passed away while the fairies very dark. Yeah, it's not even a fairy. That is how they evolve. So if they are in the wild, it would literally have traded, and the trainer is a dead dad to release it. That's not a fairy. We know that has to be the case. Like, these aren't really fairies. That's just saying plot points. Like, a few of these aren't fairies at all. Why is that number 2 on this list? Every lost child in the wood turns into a phantom. Again, this is another one where it's quite plausible. The Pokédex entry does allude to that, but it never mentions it, like, in the plot. Otherwise, it is just... the Pokédex entry does literally just say, this Pokemon is the spirit of a child who has gotten lost in the forest. So it would allude to it being every time. But again, you can breed these and they turn into phantoms. So I feel like maybe the original one was, and then it bred with a Ditto, and then like that's how the evolution line started. So yeah, there are ones like that where the first Aber and stuff like that may have indeed been a child, or at least that's what's believed, because it just kind of appeared one day. But very much so, at least the original one of these, I believe, would be a phantom, but I do not believe every lost child turns into a phantom, because there are several times in Pokemon you go looking for a lost child in the woods, like with the Hypno bit of the game, and you find the lost child and it was not a phantom. So obviously every lost child does not become a phantom. But the first one, I will grant, might have become a phantom fine, or at least some kids that get lost in the woods, if they go into like a ghost cave, might get turned into a phantom fine. There is also a Reddit forum called r/Pokemon Conspiracies. I'm going to have a quick click of a few of the most recent ones on here so we can get some fresh theories. Okay, I was not expecting it to be a monolith of text. Sweet actual lord above. All of Psychic's weaknesses are common fears. Never occurred until recently. Fear of ghosts, fear of the dark, and fear of bugs are all common fears, and since Psychic has to do with the mind, it would make sense why they're good against it. That actually... Thinking about it, yeah, but isn't... I don't know if there are any of the new types in the newer Pokemon games, because this fairy was made a long time ago. Are any of the newer types fears that go against it? Let me look up all weaknesses of Psychic types. Oh, yep, Psychic Pokemon are weak. Never mind, they're weak against fighting types as well, and poison. Yeah, so it's a nice thought process that a lot of them are fears, but stuff like fighting and poison aren't really fears. Jesus fucking Christ. Who was the first ever Pokemon champion in Kanto? Well, he literally wasn't though, as there was a champion before him that was beaten, so no. Ghost Pokemon are variations of dead Pokemon, very much plausible. They are literally ghosts. That is what a ghost is. Like, that is what I would assume ghost Pokemon would be at one point. Pokemon Go cannibalizes Pokemon... What? Pokemon Go is a fun mobile game that allows players to catch Pokemon out in the wild and battle them with gyms and other players. It's a joy of catching and training. However, Pokemon without any story from console games. One key component of Go, however, is Pokemon candies. Each Pokemon has a unique candy that players must feed the Pokemon in order to get them to evolve. Naturally, a rather dark fan theory cropped up with the Pokemon candies. The theory basically says every time a player transfer a Pokemon to Oak and get candies back, the professor's actually turning the Pokemon into the candies by feeding candies to their Pokemon. Players and only force feeding part. I highly doubt the Professor Oak would do that in Pokemon, considering, like, doesn't Ash catch like 50 Tauros in the first season of Pokemon, or one of the original Pokemon anime, and Professor Oak does keep them all and you can see him walking around. Like, I doubt he's grinding these up into meat and turning them into sweets that you feed to your Pokemon. Considering stuff like puffins exist, like in Pokemon, that you feed to your Pokemon, and like that's Pokemon food. And like Brock like makes all his own Pokemon food, unless he's also churning up Pokemon, to be fair, which is a whole nother thing in itself. Findable items aren't purposely left behind. Again, I didn't ever think they were. I don't know who's thinking someone's taking like Dragon Pulse, like TM, and putting it in like a shrub and being like, someone's gonna find this and be really happy. Or like someone's taking like 10 Ultra Balls, chucking them in a little, like, chucking them in like a bin and being like, someone's gonna find this. Like, obviously the items in the Pokemon world aren't purposely left behind. Who's trying to start a scavenger hunt? It's not even a fairy. Like, who does anyone think they're purposely left behind? Like, the Elite Four just scatter them around the world for trainers to find. In every Pokemon game, there are random Pokeballs, potions, and all that. Yeah, it's obviously you're just finding, like, it's like finding spare change in the Pokemon world. Why don't you ever find spare change in the Pokemon world? Like, is there a reason why... Does Pokemon only use, like, digital currency? So when it says you were given money after a battle, do you have digital money? Because at no point in a Pokemon game do you find a Pokeball on the floor, pick it up, and it's like, you've got 100, like, Poke pounds, I don't know. Like, why don't you ever see, like, money around on the ground in Pokemon? I think I've just made my own accidental fan theory. The player's dad is stalking them. I guess... Trainer Red has been the main playable trainer of the Pokemon games dating all the way back. I mean, he's not been the main playable trainer, he's been one of the main playable trainers. He's been a playable trainer in one game. Red's story suggests his father's been missing for the entire length of the journey, but an extremely popular fan theory suggests that Red's father was there the whole time. There's no evidence that suggests Red's father died, so the theory has been that he's been there the whole time. Makes sense. One variation of the story suggests that he meets Red at every... That the man that Red meets after every gym is actually their father, while he's always there to watch his... What, the random old dude that gives you, like, a fresh water at the door? He's actually Red's dad. I mean, I guess, I think there's cooler NPCs that could be Red's dad, like Giobanni or Professor Oak, or any of these. You're the rival of Pokemon Red Blue. I mean, you are, though. You're each other's rival. You're not like... What? In the original Pokemon Red and Blue, when you encounter the rival in Lavender Town, he asks whether or not you know what it's like to have a Pokemon die. At this point, he no longer has a Raticate. Your rival battle took place with the SSN. Your rival Raticate sustained serious injuries from that battle, but because of crowding and confusion and the luxury liner, he was unable to make it to the Pokemon Center in time, and the Raticate passed away. Despite all this, your rival outwardly tells you that you're responsible for the... He does not outwardly tell you that you're responsible. He hides the grief and instead channels it into motivating him to continue his quest and become the champion. The death of the Raticate effectively destroys your rival's impish childhood innocence. Although he tells himself that he doesn't hold you responsible, he subconsciously holds a great deal of resentment towards you, which further fuels his ambitions. The rival is scolded by his grandfather while you receive the professor's praise. During the course of the game, you steal your rival's innocence, crush his dreams, only snatch away the love of your own grandfather. Oh, and by the way, your rival doesn't have any parents, he's an orphan. Yes, but that you're both each other's rival, that's the point of a rivalry. When you're doing a rivalry, it's not one-sided, you're both each other's rival. Like, when you've got, like, sibling rivalry, it's not that, like, you're your brother's rival and he's not your rival or whatever. That's stupid. Like, you are each... That's not even a theory. You are the rival of the game by a literal definition of the word rival. Like, you are each other's rivals. Doesn't Professor Oak literally say, you've been rivals since you were born in the opening text scroll? Pokemon is a post-nuclear war anarchist utopia. That's a bit long, but I'll take you out for it. Heart swap theory. The professors in the start of the game are illusions created by a legendary Pokemon that's asking you to heart swap into a different body, the player character's body. Why? Some theories are, like, so strange. Ah, this is a long one. Okay. Let's buckle ourselves to hit. Oh, so every Pokemon character you're playing as in every game is the same kid. What's the reason for all this? Well, each player character has their own dreams, but they can't seem to get them. Thus, they ask legendary Pokemon to become the champion, to become Pokemon Master, to become that. What do you mean they have dreams and they can't seem to get them? Red's dream at the start of the game is, I'm going to be a Pokemon Master, and he absolutely crushes it. I think most characters in the Pokemon games get the dreams they're trying to achieve other than, like, the bad guys. Like, Wallace wants to be brave, Blue wanted to be champion, Red wanted to be champion, you both got that dream for a bit. Like, pretty much everyone in the Pokemon game gets that dream. Why is this even a theory? This doesn't change the plot, you're just changing the reasoning behind it. Pokemon are named after the sounds they make, not the other way around. Are they not? Like... Obviously. What? That means you could name a Pokemon the full English language and it would be able to fully speak the full English language. Of course they're not speaking their name, they're just... We obviously heard something go Pika and we named it Pika. like it's of course that's what I don't understand. Like, no one thinks Pokemon, or at least they shouldn't think Pokemon are just saying their own name so people gave them. Wait, what were named after the sounds they make, not the other one? Yeah, of course they're not, like, they didn't name themselves by saying their name or whatever. They're not just saying the name we give them. Like, we didn't see a Pokemon that couldn't speak and then we're like, we're going to call that Pikachu, and then the Pokemon's like, Pikachu? Otherwise, that's, no, like, that's stupid. Of course we named it after the noise it makes. Because there are Pokemon which come around that we just discover and they're, like, already making the noise. Like, when you discover, like, Pokemon in the wild in the games, or, like, a new legendary is discovered in, like, the shows or whatever, it's like, you scan it and it's, like, fucking, like, we give it, it's already saying words, like, I'm hard to explain this, but, like, it's just, of course we don't name Pokemon, of course Pokemon didn't name themselves, or I can't... Like, of course, Pokemon didn't just start speaking because we gave them a name. Like, that's stupid. Brock is the reason for all the filler episodes. Okay, let's make this the last one. A joke in the early seasons is that Brock often had no sense of direction. TV tropes proposed this as a joke, but I believe it makes sense. As Brock is the big brother of the group, Ash and co look up to him and trust him, but Brock is a terrible navigator who can't read a map to save his life, and this was before the age that there was a phone and Google Maps. Then you have a Pokédex, to be fair, and you also have just actual maps. Yeah, Max had the Pokégear, but he was still just a little kid. He's bound to make mistakes. In the universe, Brock is also a 15-year-old kid. Is he not? Isn't he like a full-grown adult? Like, he doesn't look 15. I don't think... Can kids even? Sure, that guy's not 15. Yeah, like, again, is that a theory? There are a lot of episodes where Brock does lead them astray because he can't read a map. Like, that's not really a theory, that's just looking at the episodes. Okay, I think we're going to leave it on that. We've probably been rambling for about an hour now. I have no idea how long. I've been zoning out reading for theories. I've cut about, like, 5 or 6 pretty awful ones from the list, but... yeah, thank you all for watching. If there's specific Pokemon theories or any theories you guys have that you would like me to look at, then please leave them in the comments down below. I might include some of your comments in the next video if you type a big theory down there that you guys would like me to look at. Yes guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'm trying to do more full-length videos like this on the channel. I'm still going to keep the same number of shorts going on the channel. I'm just trying to increase production a little bit and also give you some full-length content so it's not just shorts. But for any of you that are new to the channel, thank you all for watching. The main series that I usually do on the channel is a series of shorts where I'm redesigning the entire shiny Pokédex. So each episode is a new evolution, a new like Pokemon evolution that I now just do all its forms and make my own shiny versions. So currently we're about 60-ish Pokemon into the original Kanto Pokédex. Hopefully by the end of the year I can finish Pokédex 1, but that is pushing it because that is another like 90 Pokemon I've still got to do, and I'm doing about 6 to 10 a month-ish at the minute. So, but hopefully by the end of the year I can finish the Kanto Pokédex. There are many other series of shorts, but that is by far the longest running one. As we go further into the channel, I might want to try tackling some challenge runs. By the end of the year, I kind of want to have done, or maybe at least started, a challenge run series, which will be full-length videos of a whole, like, Nuzlocke or something. Maybe a Pokemon randomized run. But yes, guys, this has been it for this video. It's nice doing full-length content again, to be fair. Shorts usually don't take me too long, about 2 hours to make, and I only make one every 3 or 4 days, so it's good to just have a good couple hours where I sit down and work on the channel for a few hours. But if you guys like full-length content and want to see more of it, leave suggestions of full-lengthy stuff you'd like to see in the comments down below. We've now looked at creepy Pokédex entries and weird theories, so I could look at either another episode on either of these two, or maybe a whole different full-length vid. As I said in a previous video, I do have 2 or 3 full-length video ideas that I don't want to say yet, but I will be working on them after this video. So after 2 or 3 more shorts, get ready for another full-length video that I will start working on. But thank you all so much for watching. This has been Poke NPC. I will see you all in the next video, but for now, peace. Thank you for watching.